Pavi, time for Jeopardy. Pick your category.
I'll take obvious answers to stupid questions for 200, Alex.
Ooh, good choice. So, you woke up, showered, went to a certain place, which was the same place every day, sat at your desk, cried at your desk, ate lunch, worked out, earthing at the same time each and every day for 5 days a week.
Pick me! Yeah.
That over-enthusiastic person in the
What
corner.
is the workplace, Alex?
Ding ding ding! End scene.
Welcome! We're the 9 to 5 Misfits. I'm Pavi and this is Nani. And we wanted to welcome you guys because we're now part of the Brown Girl family. And if you want to check our origin story, please check our previous episode from the last week. And thank you for joining us and we hope you'll stay with us for every video.
Like Pavi said, we're so excited to be part of this Brown Girl family, and we've actually been around on YouTube for about 10 months through our other channel called the 9 to 5 Misfits, where we talk about unemployment and all that stuff. So a lot of stuff which is very relatable to you brown girls. And so, you know, we're going to be releasing some of our older videos, which I think is good content for this channel. But don't get thrown off by changing hair lengths and changing timelines and everything. We promise we will get back on track at some point.
Yep.
So now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Hi Misfits, welcome back to our channel. We're Pavi and Nami back again to help you crush unemployment and find your dream career. So we're again doing a sort of throwback about structuring your day once you lose your job. The first thing that happens to you is pandemonium and being afraid, but at the same time we're here to help save the day with a recap on our episode about structuring your day like a work day.
Okay, so why are we talking about this? Well, as humans, you know, we're creatures of habit. Our bodies crave routine, and so when you're at the workplace or when you're a student, you're used to that routine being imposed on you by a third party. But suddenly when that's taken away from you, when you're unemployed or when you graduate, you know, it feels like life doesn't make sense anymore. Down is up and up is down. Stranger Things.
And that kind of happened to me. Like when I lost my job the first time around, I had literally no structure. I never thought about this being the first thing to scare me.
Yeah.
When I was unemployed, I was just worried about money. I'm like, how am I gonna make money? But people don't think about this being the biggest thing that's gonna be taken away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we do about this then? Well, number one, structure your day like a work day. What a concept. So this doesn't necessarily only apply to you if you're unemployed. This is again for students who may have just, you know, graduated and don't have anywhere to go. Or maybe you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur where you have to make your own structure, basically your own schedule. So you have to train yourself basically to have this almost robotic routine. And Pavi, I know you've gotten this down, right?
Yep. Actually, when I got laid off, I had a friend call me, her name's Melosi, and she mentioned that, hey, this is gonna be something that you're gonna find very challenging because you don't have to wake up. No one's really expecting you anywhere. But I realized that was the best piece of advice she gave me because it's very easy to get in and stay in your PJs and kind of like stay in that funk. And another thing that worked out for me was my dog. I didn't realize that he has to go out no matter what happens. If he's raged all night the night before, he still has to go out at the same time every day. And that helped me keep that routine. And then I forced myself into showering in the morning and still making myself a really healthy breakfast, grabbing coffee and making sure I'm ready for the day for like networking as well as working on Biz Latte and the 9 to 5 Misfits.
Some key takeaways from that is, for one, it begins with your state of mind. It begins with starting your day off right and being in a positive mindset. So the best way to do that is approach it like you're going somewhere. Get out of your PJs. That is the biggest thing, because otherwise you're just gonna sit around feeling like a bum all day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure not everyone's wearing Victoria's Secret PJs with the fur and stuff. I don't think that's real.
One big thing is, do not check your email before you've figured out what you're gonna do with your day, because email generally makes you just panic. So because you have like 20,000 things to answer. So before that, what I typically do is I drink a cup of tea or coffee, I think about what I'm gonna do during the day, maybe write down like 3 to 5 tasks. Then I check my email so that it seems a little less stressful.
Yep. The other thing to do is to be brutally honest with yourself and know what your tendencies are. Are you someone who slacks off because you work at home? Are you someone who does better in a coffee shop or a library? Do you need a co-working space? Are you someone who tends to have problems and like if you're at home and you're like in the kitchen and you think about you don't want to get out of there because you're like, let me eat all the junk. So make sure that you're aware of what you tend to do and to be more productive.
For shows. So speaking of kitchen, okay, I'm a huge foodie and I'm constantly eating and I love to cook. So if I step into the kitchen, it is a death sentence for my productivity, and I have learned that the hard way. So now I try to kind of stay out of it, and one great way to prepare ahead of time is to meal prep.
Yes! So for someone who doesn't enjoy cooking, meal prep works too. I don't like to be guessing, in the kitchen what I'm gonna eat because then I want to eat junk, and at the same time I do not care to cook fancy things. So it's a good idea to prep your meals ahead of time, either in batches or every week, whatever works for you.
The truth is that if you're unemployed, you don't want to ruin your routine with having to be in the kitchen trying to figure out what to cook during the day. Also, you don't want to be spending a lot of money going out to eat like fancy elaborate lunches every day or dinners.
Hashtag Whole Foods, sorry.
I do love my Whole Foods.
Yeah, and then you can do meal swap too. Like I know one of my friends is doing a meal swap with her best friend, which is really cool because they cook for each other for one meal. I mean, it wouldn't work for us because there's no advantages for her, but at the same time, if it worked for you and your friend, good for you.
Yeah. So speaking of friends, great segue. Another thing that we tend to completely underestimate is the power of people when we're unemployed, because we start to feel really ashamed and really isolated, and we feel like we're the only ones in this situation and no one will understand why we're unemployed. And so we tend to sort of retreat and go into a hole.
Yeah, and that's what happened to me when I was unemployed the first time around and I was in India. I remember people asking me, so what are you gonna do to keep busy? And I would want to be like, start killing people, be kidding with you. But I didn't say that. I didn't want to see people after that, and because they kept asking me these questions that I didn't have answers to, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, people can definitely suck sometimes, but sometimes they can be downright helpful and fun.
Yeah, it can actually instill normalcy, because for me, when I got laid off, I tried to stick to my workout routine the same way I used to, working out after work, because I'm not a morning person really, and I didn't think of how beneficial that would be, because people are always like, work out in the morning, you can get it out of the way, you don't have to go to work. I don't see people through the day like I used to at work, and this is something that kept my routine and still helped me maintain human contact and build relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you can use this almost as an incentive. If you tell yourself that you're gonna do a good job during the day, and then your reward is that you get to go to happy hour, you get to go to that dance class or workout class with a friend, then it gives you something to work towards. If you're unemployed, you're just not gonna see people because you're not gonna go to a workplace. So you need some sort of human interaction to make it seem like you're part of this world and you're in touch with the outside world.
So those are the 3 tried and tested hacks that we use that helped us with building structure and maintaining a routine lifestyle. That is, structure your day like a work day, plan your meals ahead of time, and maintain human contact. Those work for us. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for you, but it's good. It's a good thing to try out.
We've said it in so many of our videos. We have lots of other tips and tricks that you can check out, but we always want to keep hearing from you guys. So if you've done something that's worked really well for you, definitely call us.
Yeah,
give us
and we
a
have
shout.
a ton of resources on our website, bizlatte.com, whether it's unemployment or even underemployment. So connect with us on BizLatte as well as social media. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Yay!
Bye.